What's up, everyone? My name is DJ JC, and I'm one of the DJs over at Super Cool Radio. I host a 1-hour metal show called The Brutal Block. We have new episodes every Tuesday, dropping at noon. So if heavy metal music is something that you're into, then make your way over to The Brutal Block. Throw up the horns, and let's get rockin'!
The Cognitive Discourse is recorded in front of no one. It is just me and myself in my room being a shithead. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Cognitive Discourse. Before we get into today's episode, I just want to first say to the people who continuously come in and listen to the show, thank you. I appreciate you guys and welcome back. For all you new folks out there that are tuning in, hello and welcome to the show. I hope you guys enjoy what I am doing here. But before we actually get into the episode here, I wanted to just take a moment and I've always been talking about I want to build a community. I want to showcase other individuals, artists, musicians, storytellers, poetry writers, what have you. I want to help build that community. And I've recently done another podcast with my buddy Nolan from Every Podcast I Love Is Dead. We have a new podcast out that's called Basic Ass Dudes, which we are heavily pushing on YouTube. But we're kind of doing the same thing there. We're actively showcasing bands and featuring bands on that show. So we're really trying to kind of help the music community as music fans ourselves, as music creators ourselves, share that love and that community. So with that being said, I have a friend of mine who is from the Philippines. I actually met him from a game that we both play on our phones. It's a phone game that we play, and we were in the same alliance together. We've grown really tight with each other. We're always joking with each other. He's my homie. He's the one that gets my humor. So we always had a good time on there. And the more we talked, the closer we got. And I come to find out the dude does art. So excuse me, I wanted to take some time to kind of feature him, and I'll leave a link down in the description to his page. He did inform me that he eventually will have a website that we can, push, and so when that becomes available, I'll leave a link to his website. But for right now, you can find him at fineartamerica.com. That's fineartamerica.com. And like I said, I'll leave a link down in the description. But if you just type that in, you can go to the search bar and type in Eric Lagman. That's E-R-I-K. And then Lagman, L-A-G-M-A-N. And you can go check out some of the art pieces that he has for sale there. He's a photographer. He takes amazing pictures and stuff like that. And of course, since he's from the Philippines, you get some really cool pictures of the Philippines. So I'll read his bio real quick. It just says an amateur street photographer and graphics artist from the Philippines. He loves traveling and experiencing new things, as well as looking at the familiar from a different lens. So go ahead and give him some love. Go check out his page that he has. And I believe you can even purchase some of these prints as well. Let me look here. I think if you click on the actual photo, if you click on the actual photo, you can get some of these photos as wall art, home decor. You can put it on a bunch of different stuff. It looks like stationary stuff, coffee mugs, apparel. So go check him out. He's got some really, really badass pictures. I was looking through it earlier this morning, and I'm really intrigued by some of these. He definitely has an eye for photography. So shout out to my boy Eric Lagman, sorry. Go check him out. Now on to our normal episode here. on today's episode, I just wanted to kind of cover, again, me being on the Facebook, scrolling through stuff. I was reading some old stuff that I posted, and, again, I do this podcast so I can go back and listen to these episodes myself after a few years and see if my opinion has changed at all. I leave myself open to be able to kind of change the way I think and evolve as time progresses and as I gain new experiences, meet new people, run into different life scenarios and situations. I allow myself to be open to new experiences, to new ways of thinking, and so I like to look back at old memories, at some of the stuff that I wrote, and if I'm being a little egotistical, sometimes I'm like, man, I tap myself on the back, like, that was pretty good. It's pretty good, pretty wisdom filled, if you will. So I'm gonna read this one to you guys, and maybe we'll discuss a little bit about it, and we'll go from there. So this is a post that I posted 4 years ago to the day, and I wrote, "I'm sure you've heard the saying, the grass is always greener on the other side." And well, I have to disagree. If you believe that, then you are a dreamer. I don't dream, I do. So with that said, yes, the grass may be greener now, but I'm going to attend to my grass. I'm going to work my grass until it's thicker, fuller, and greener than the grass I once saw on the other side. So stop thinking about what others have and thinking that they got lucky. Luck doesn't exist. You work hard, you stay focused, and you push through the negative persons or thought that's telling you to quit. You put in the effort, and you will succeed. Now, this is one thing in my life that I think that hasn't really changed about me. It's something that I have to constantly remind myself. Because, again, procrastination is the killer for me. But I think envy is a killer for a lot of people. A lot of people will look at other people and they're envious of what they have. This is how you get the quote-unquote haters. A lot of the times you'll notice the people that are being haters are the ones that have nothing going on in their lives. When you're focused and you're driven and you're trying to achieve what it is that you want to achieve and go after your goals and apply yourself, chances are you're too busy to worry about what other people are doing. Now, I look at grass on the other side, the grass being greener on the other side. I don't look at that anymore as like envying someone else. If anything, I may even approach that person and say, "Hey man, how did you get your grass so green?" I'm always looking for mentors. I'm always willing to ask the questions, especially from somebody who lives it on a daily basis, somebody who's successful at whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. And that's why I wanted I opened the show the way I did, was because, again, I am all for healthy competition. I'm all for being competitive with people from a business standpoint. But I'm also for the building of a community, of understanding that, at the end of the day, it doesn't hurt to ask questions. It doesn't hurt to look for mentors. If you can find somebody who will take you under your wing and teach you, tricks of the trade, if you will, I don't see a problem with that. And a lot of the times I think people who hate on other people for being successful on certain things, it's funny because I think if you dig down deep enough, at one point that person might have been a fan of someone's work. I saw that shit in my real life as a young teenager. I knew a guy who I was cool with. He was cool with, we were friends among friends, I met him through other friends. And his friendship and his admiration for me turned into an obsession, which then turned into competitiveness, which then turned into hate. This dude, at one point there was a switch, and he had a disdain for me, and I never understood why. But I got to see, now that I'm older and taking a step back and looking at it, and hearing some of the stuff, that the conversations that he had with some of the people that I know about me, it makes sense as to the evolution, if you will, of his us being acquaintances, to us being friends, to him admiring me, which is what made him want to be my friend to begin with, to this weird obsession, to ultimately like being really competitive and then hating me. And I mean, I can break that down, and I think that's where it comes from, where I was saying, like, somebody who sees the grass greener on the other side, and that envy, letting that envy take over, when there was really no reason for it, and we're not even talking business there. That's just me being who I am, just me being a person. When we became friends, at the time I was learning how to play bass, and even today, I don't think that I'm like an amazing musician. I think that there's a lot of growing that I still have to do. There's a lot of learning that I still have to do, and I've been playing music since I was 14. I'm going to be 33 this month. So I never carry that mantle of like I'm an expert or I'm a master at something. That's not who I am. I always leave room for growth, and I'm always going to learn something new. And again, this bounces back to mentorship and surrounding yourself around people who do what you do and do it well, and you have that admiration for them. You admire what they're doing, and again, if you just reach out to them, a lot of times people are willing to help, and a lot of people like to teach. But anyway, I was learning bass at that time, and I was nowhere near the level of some of the kids that I went to school with. But I found out later on that he got into music and wanting to play because of me. How true that is, I don't know. Again, this was told to me by a female friend of mine who was friends with both of us. And she thought it was funny because he would always talk about me to her. And me and her hung out a lot. It's actually a girl I tried to hook up with a few times and failed miserably. But me and her were still cool with each other. And she used to always find it fascinating that every time they hung out, him and her, that he would always somehow steer the conversation to me. But he admired my bass playing skill, my music skill, and at the time, like I said, it wasn't that great. But yeah, and then he liked. When I was in high school, I talked to a lot of girls. I was that guy that hung around a lot of chicks. Funny thing is that a lot of my dude friends and some of the other girls thought that I was like bagging all these chicks. Funny enough, I wasn't. Like I didn't. I mean, my list is pretty small of the kind of girls that I've been with, but I was just always. Girls were always comfortable with me. I was always that guy friend. Again, I was okay with it. Like, I just want to hang out with people. But yeah, there was. I think the way that I carried myself, people thought that I was, bagging these girls, and it wasn't even like that. These girls just felt comfortable around me. And the thing is that, like I didn't change. So the way I acted around my guy friends was the same way I acted around my girlfriends. So there was no like fakeness about me. Like I act one way around my guy friends, and then I'm Mr. Cool Guy in front of the chicks. I never played that. And I have a couple friends that were like that, and it used to irritate me when they did that shit. I would see it, and I would just kind of like, I would call some of them out on it, but other ones I wouldn't even call them out because I'm like, it's not worth it because they know what they're doing, and I knew what their intentions were. So it is what it is, But back to this guy. So he would see me hang around a lot of these girls, and then he started trying to associate himself with a lot of these females. And this is why I know about this stuff, is because these chicks would come and tell me this stuff. So I think in his mind, he thought I was bagging these girls too. And so he was it became competitive for him. And ultimately, he ended up. There was a girl that you know how they say the one that got away. She was kind of one of those girls. I was being dumb, young and dumb, and she was always really kind of loyal to me, and I just never really. I guess I took it for granted. And yeah, if you're a younger gentleman listening to this right now, if there's a girl who likes you and that you've had some conversations with, and you guys are, a little past the friendship line, and you both kind of have feelings for each other, don't be stupid and invite another girl that you like over to your house at the same fucking time. I don't have a lot of regrets in my life, but that night was kind of a dumb move in my part. This girl really did like me, and I liked her too, but I was being young and dumb and was kind of trying to spin way too many plates, not knowing what the fuck I was doing, and yeah, so she's one of those ones that got away. But again, going back to the guy, him being, sneaky, took that as his advantage to, strike, if you will. And so that was one of those things where, I always noticed that, and I've always remembered it too. Like, that's one of the reasons why, my friendship with him kind of started to go away, was that it then became this animosity. Like, I had no animosity towards him. It's like, hey man, do what you got to do. That's my fuck up. Do what you're going to do. Of course in my head, I always thought like, dude, she's only with you because, she's trying to get back at me. Cause the whole reason why you guys even hooked up, was because it happened that night. And she came to my house thinking we were going to hang out, and I ended up being dumb and hanging out with this other chick and giving this other chick attention, which led to nowhere, which in return, you got the girl, which, didn't pan out well. Anyway, yeah, so his obsession with me became, animosity. It started to, down to like, he would call me out at parties, like trying to show his, like, it started getting really Chad, like those Chad vibes, where he would try to like hot girls would be at the party, and I'm just there to drink and have a good time, and he's like, yo man, let's bench press. How many push-ups can you do? And we had a old bandmate of mine, who's a big boy, who's pretty heavy, and he kept saying like, I bet you I can take him down before you, and I'm like, I don't care. Like, I'm here to have a good time, man. Like, and again, that mentality I've seen throughout males through life. And the funny thing is that gets thrown around as quote unquote toxic masculinity, and it's just dumbass dudes who are insecure, and they don't understand that at the end of the day, you don't got to prove shit to nobody. And then the real dudes out there, the ones you don't want to fuck with, are the dudes that have that mentality, that are like, look, I got nothing to prove, but I'm also not a bitch. I'm not a punk. You can't sit there and run over me. And those are the dudes that I surround myself with. I surround myself around dudes who are confident, who know who they are, and they don't take shit from no one, but they don't go out looking for trouble either. And I'm tired of those groups of people that I hang out with, and I know those people on a personal level. I'm tired of those people being attacked and being said that that's toxic masculinity, because it's not. That's just a dude being a dude. That's a dude being confident, knowing who the fuck he is, and goes about his life and doesn't worry about other fucking people. The dudes you got to worry about are the ones that want to prove who they are, because they're insecure and they're scared little bitches, so they feel like they have to flex on everybody. Those are the dudes you got to worry about. And those are the dudes, are the reasons why I don't really care to go out, because I'm a family man, and I don't want to have to hurt one of these little pricks because they want to flex. And I miss out on my kids growing up because of his dumbass. Anyway, I'm getting way off topic. But anyway, going back to what I was saying with the, building your own stuff. This plays back into the previous episode that I released about, not wanting to be a part so much of a community that's already built, but building your own community, being part of something that you've created. I think you can hold your head up a lot higher and have a lot more pride with you on something that you've created, and you can be more genuine about it. And I think you just have more fun time of being yourself, knowing who you are, finding like-minded people, and pushing forward. And then even then, you don't have to even look for like-minded people. Just do your thing, man. Whatever it is that you want to do, do it. And those people will come around. But again, keep your head on a swivel. You have to watch out for the snakes. And that may be a jaded comment. That may be something that, it may come off sounding like I'm jaded, but from personal experiences and again, now being a content creator and seeing how people are within my personal life, it's really woken me up and really put me in a position where, again, I'm never going to forget the people who are with me from the start. I got nothing but love, and I don't want no hate in my heart. Let's put it that way. That's one thing that I'm really trying to change in my life and be a very positive individual and try to weed out as much negativity as possible. I'm tired of being mad. I'm tired of being disgruntled and upset. And we live in a very volatile time. So it's hard. There's challenges every single day. There's things that are going to challenge you at the core of who you are every day. And, like I said, I think your biggest enemy is going to be yourself. But you got to stop relying on other people. If you find like-minded people, that's great. But don't put all your eggs in that basket. And that's one of the things that, I like about what I'm doing is that I got a lot of plates spinning, but I have all those plates spinning because, again, it's one of those things, whichever one takes off, then, it allows me to still continue doing the other things. Just trying to stay busy is the hard part because, like I said, I do procrastinate. It does become mentally exhausting. It does wear on me, where it's like, fuck, I got this and I got to do this and I got to do this. And then it becomes crippling. But you have to stay engaged. And, that's one of the reasons why I set out to want to do bad, basic ass dudes. I originally was going to do it by myself. Which you can kind of see in the logo. If you look at the original logo, it says basic ass dude. And then in parentheses, I have the S. Because originally I was going to do it by myself. And I was just going to have guests come on the show and discuss movie, video games, music, whatever. But then I had reached out to Nolan. And me and Nolan had already been talking about possibly doing a show where we did something with music, but we hadn't really finalized and ironed out the idea 100%. We were still floating around names and stuff like that. And, when I made Basic Ass Dudes, I was just basically like, hey man, do you want to come on and talk a movie with me? And it kind of just took form there. Me and him get along very well. We have a dynamic that works. And almost like the dynamic that I had with my old partner on the old podcast, I felt that dynamic with this guy. And like I've mentioned in other episodes, I have a tendency to latch onto individuals. I've done that my entire life. I am one of those guys that I can do well by myself, but I do extremely well when I have a buddy to bounce ideas off of. When I have a bromance going, I tend to do way better, because you get to see me in my rawest form. Doing this, talking about myself, it's fun. I enjoy doing it, but I sometimes question how entertaining is it for you guys, the one listening. How many times have you just zoned out while I'm talking, So to be able to have that dynamic back and forth, and I've already had people reach out to me, friends who have watched the first episode of Bad and have, critiqued it, and they've given me notes, and they've told me what they like and what they don't like about the show, and for the most part it's a lot of positivity, and it drives that thing in me to want to continue producing great content for that show. But again, I feel like, the same thing that people have said that I felt the same way with the dynamic. Me and Nolan have a good dynamic. And so I feel like that show is working because of that dynamic. That show wouldn't have been the same had it just been me by myself. I already got a show like that. So to have another podcast where we can have two hosts that are the same hosts, that, can have dialogue, that back and forth dialogue, and the fact that we're filming it, and I'm practicing my video editing skills with that show, and again, still also going into my music ability and really building that show from the ground up, like from the logo to the music to the video editing to all of that stuff. It's all homegrown, all done behind the scenes by me and Nolan. Like, that's what I really love. Nolan is and that's the thing, is I don't want it to sound like I'm doing all the work. Nolan is pulling his weight, and he's the one that's doing all the social media stuff, and he's doing all the descriptions, write outs, and he's always there to give a helping hand. So I have somebody who is ready to go, ready to do it with me, and we're on the same page. We're reading the same book. We're there. We're tight. And it makes me happy. It really does. And I know I'm going completely off topic from what the original episode was, but I'm just kind of talking how I feel right now. And, so I just want to give a huge shout out and a huge thanks to Nolan for being a part of the show with me. I feel like that show's going to do really well. And so if you're listening to this and you haven't checked it out, go to YouTube. We're pushing YouTube exclusively for that right now. Eventually I'm thinking about releasing audio versions of them just like this, so you can listen to on Spotify and stuff like that when you're in your car. But just go to YouTube and type in Basic Ass Dudes, and our stuff will pop up. But yeah, it's great to have somebody that does that. And like I said, I plan on eventually having guests on this show. It's just the living situation right now is a little rough. So if you'd like to help us get into a bigger place, and help motivate me to continue putting out great content, the best way you can support this show is to share it with your friends, get people to listen to it. If you want to financially support this band, or the band, sorry, I'm also in the band, but you want to financially support the podcast, you can do that by just picking up some merch. I have a merch link down in the description. It's in the description of all my stuff. That will help. I'm trying to keep this this show for sure. I'm trying to keep this like almost sponsor and ad free, unless a sponsor that I actually truly love and use myself approaches me. I'm not very active with that. That's why I am trying to be so active on having multiple plates spinning. I'll leave a few links down in the description of some of the other stuff that I do. I have this podcast. I have Basic Ass Dudes. I do the Among War stuff. I also make apparel. So I have a few brands that I'm trying to build up and launch and, make successful. And I'll leave a link to a couple of them. But my two main ones are Rogue Zed and Among the Brazen. Rogue Zed is a black-green... it's my color combo, which is what the cognitive discourse is, as you see, is a black-green combo, and it's very dark and metal inspired. type of apparel. So if you're into, you know, metal or goth or something like that, that apparel is supposed to kind of apply to that genre of people. And then Among the Brazen is more of like a Pro 2A type of apparel company. Again, me being Pro TA myself and being a gun owner myself, you know, I wanted to have a brand that I could wear myself to show my support of the Second Amendment. So if that's something that you're into, you know, I'll have the links down in the description for that type of stuff. And again, I don't have, you know, that's not trying to make a political stance with that either. It's just I am pro-gun, and I think everybody should be. But if you're not, that's okay. If you don't like guns, that's completely okay. But if you know me on a personal level and you're kind of on the fence about guns, or you've never really shot a gun but you thought about it and you wanna spend some time at the range, hit me up, let me know, and I'll have a range day with you. Show you some of the basics and try to teach you gun safety properly, so you develop good habits and not bad. So that way, you know, we're all safe. And you know, that's the main thing about me being pro gun, is that I'm pro gun, but I'm also very pro gun safety. You know, before you even get to fire a firearm with me, we're going over some stuff. So. But yeah, man, I just kind of wanted to get on today. Like I said, I saw that post, and I just wanted to kind of get on and just shoot the shit with you guys a little bit and talk to y'all. And again, if there's anything that you guys have content-wise that you want me to cover, or if you want to just write into the show, you're more than welcome to do that. If you're an artist of any kind, whether it be painting, photographer, musical artist, a poet, whatever it is, again, I'm completely open to sharing whatever it is that you have with my audience. And you know, again, if you're in a band, we're always looking for features for basic ass dudes. But go watch that episode and get the information from that show, so we're not mixing everything up. And if you want to be featured on that show, contact the show through that email. You'll probably still be talking to me or Nolan, but we'll keep that separate. If you want something on this show, though, you want me to share something on this show, whether it be music, whether it be poetry, a short story, whatever it is, you can send that to cognitivediscoursepodcast@gmail.com. That's cognitivediscoursepodcast@gmail.com. Again, I'll have a link down in the description, so you can email me. If you want to just talk shit to me, that's fine too. I welcome it all, man. Even if it's hate, I'll read it live and share it with my community. I don't care about if it's loving or hateful. It is what it is. At the end of the day, I'm pretty sure it'll still be entertaining. So yeah, with that, I hope you guys have a great Friday. You know, have a great weekend. Stay safe, and until next time.